Hi, I'm Dr. Melinda Connor. I'm the founder and one of the principal investigators at Earthsong's Holistic Consulting. I want to thank you for the opportunity to be here today as part of the LifeWave community. We've been doing research for LifeWave since 2010, and one of the joys of the process is that we get a chance to look critically and carefully at very interesting products. The wellness community is a very complex community, and LifeWave does something very, very important. What it does is create an evidence base for each and every one of its products. So for example, for the X49 product, we're doing a whole series of studies that we're engaged in right now. We're going to be sharing some data about the women's study that we've done and the men's study that we're currently doing and enrolling subjects for. We're going to be sharing some of the information on the X39 products. Now, X39, we've had a chance to do more than 9 studies. And X39's been very, very consistent in the results that we've seen, repeated trials. That's very, very important in science. And we've been very, very impressed with the way in which X39 performs. So one of the things that we're hoping to see in the combination of X39 and X49 is the same kind of consistency. We don't know yet, but the early data results are showing that yes, in fact, we are headed in that direction. So we'll see how the continuing data results evolve. It's always exciting to see new products develop, because with new products, we have new opportunities. The LifeWave products are wellness products. They deal with the electrical and chemical processes of the body. They're affected by light, and that makes a huge difference. Every cell in your body is impacted by the light around you, and every cell of your body can use a boost as you age. All sorts of chemistry changes in the body as you age. And so the opportunity to have products that will boost and change your metabolism is a very exciting potential and possibility. LifeWave is exploring those options and those possibilities, and we get an opportunity to explore them with you. We have 2 studies that are of particular interest that we're going to be sharing with you today. We'll be sharing some others as well, but key are a women's study on X49 and a men's strength and stamina study on X49. X49 is new to our research, and for those that aren't aware, we break out our research process so that we hold it in tremendous integrity. We don't do the processing of the samples except for the most basic part here at our laboratory. They're sent out for people who do the processing that are the experts in that area of the work. Science is very, very complex. So for example, one laboratory does the blood analysis. Another laboratory is doing the hormone analysis and looking at the amino acid contents of the various results. Another group is doing the statistical analysis. So we're making sure that when we come to the final product analysis, and particularly in a double-blind study, the 2 studies we're presenting today that are X49 are early in the process. They are not yet double-blind randomized control trials. They are proof of concept trials to see whether we had what we thought we might have. One of the examples of the work that we're doing on the male strength and stamina study is we're looking at 3D imaging. It's very exciting. We can look at bone density, amount of fat. We can look at muscle mass and the muscle mass index. We can look at comprehensive changes in the structure of the body. One of the things that we are starting to see in the data as I look at what's happening there in these proof of concept studies is we're seeing that people are building actual muscle mass. Now that's very unusual in somebody who's in their late 60s and in their 70s and their early 80s. So it's very exciting data to see this change and be able to document it clearly, accurately in 3D imaging. So without further ado, I'm going to present Dr. Caitlin Connor. She is my daughter, and I'm delighted to share that she has both a master's and a doctorate in acupuncture and oriental medicine. She has been completing and has just completed, in fact, her work at the University of Oxford in the UK, which has the top health sciences research training program in the world today. And she's just finished that work doing her postdoctoral fellowship. She also is board certified in alternative medicine and has an EHPC in some of her alternative medicine work. So without further ado, I'll give you Dr. Caitlin Connor.
Hello, LifeWave. It's a pleasure to be here with you today. In X39 and X49, you have a major positive combination. With X39, it significantly increases GHK and GHK-Cu. GHK resets 4,000 different genes, and GHK significantly impacts a number of amino acids. We may have found a mechanism of action. It also declines with age, from 200 nanograms per milliliter at age 20 to 80 nanograms per milliliter by the age of 60. Just a couple of fast facts about GHK-Cu. It stimulates stem cell production and is more stable than either GHK or copper by itself. The Cu stands for copper. It helps repair and maintain all tissue types, including nerves, connective tissue, and cellular respiration. It also accelerates wound healing and contraction and improves the take of transplanted skin and possesses anti-inflammatory actions. In the double-blind randomized control trial on X39, we confirmed earlier data from prior studies. It improves amino acid production, helps to rebalance the gut, helps short-term memory, and improves sleep. In addition, X39 also helps lower blood pressure, improves muscle relaxation, improves respiration by day 7, improves heart rate variability by day 7, so both of those are within 1 week, and helps improve a total feeling of vitality. In contrast to this, AHK builds skin, which is the largest organ in the body and helps with respiration, muscles, tendons, and bone. In our recent study on X49, looking at AHK-Cu, we saw a p-value of 0.04, a mean of -12.65, a standard deviation of 25.3, with a confidence interval of 95%. So how do we know that the X49 patch is what's actually making these differences? In science, we look for statistical significance. We look for evidence that what's occurring isn't random. We look for consistency in data because consistency in data means a consistent product. In science, very often the most interesting data is the data that you don't expect. In addition to the significant improvement in AHK-Cu, we also saw a change in NTX. NTX is a measure of calcium absorption into bone. However, we saw NTX change across every single data point in this study, including the second data point. Because it changed at every single data point, we didn't get statistical significance. We are still looking into why that may have occurred. We are currently looking at age to see if there's a difference between who had a change when there. We're looking at diet, and we're also looking at hormone levels. When we have determined what occurred, we will bring that data to the LifeWave community. This is really exciting data because it takes X49 to the next level. We also did a men's exercise study looking at either a combination of X39 and X49 or X49 by itself. It was randomized, but it wasn't blinded in any way because it's really hard to hide whether or not you have one patch or two. The most important part of this study is we saw an improvement in all of the measures across the board, regardless of which group people were in. The more interesting part of that is that the 60 and 70-year-olds in the study showed a more significant improvement, again, across the board, regardless of which group they were in, than the 40-year-olds and the 50-year-olds. In the men's exercise study, for example, in the X49 only group, we saw sit-ups improve at 70%, push-ups improve at 81%, and bicep curls at 112%. This means that in 8 weeks, the number of bicep curls that they could do more than doubled in 30-second measurements. In the same study, the X39 and X49 group also showed 80% grip improvement and 90% improvement in the calories burned on an exercise bike. In that study, we also did 3D scans on every participant at multiple data points, and we saw muscle mass improve in every single participant during those 8 weeks. This suggests that they are improving performance, strength, and stamina across the board. Between these two studies, X49 shows a broad impact on health and wellness, and in combination with X39, the data is exciting.
As you can tell, the data results are really, really encouraging. I want to thank you for our opportunity to be here with you today, share the hard science data, the biochemistry, the physiology, and the changes that are happening as a result of the X39 and X49 products.